Politicians are no strangers to the film camera. Here we have Stanley Baldwin, the Conservative Prime Minister, speaking to camera in the Downing Street Gardens in the 1930s. But in many ways we see a major difference happening in the 1950s when television ownership really takes off in Great Britain. And over this period we see a real revolution in the election broadcast. Now I'm just going to show you two clips which show the very different ways in which people were doing broadcasts in 1951 when there's very low TV ownership, and in 1959 when the majority of British households have a TV. So here's a Labour election broadcast from 1951.
Good evening. Television election broadcast. During the past two evenings at this time, 8 o'clock, speakers chosen by the parties have come to the studio to give an election address. Tonight, Sir Hartley Shawcross, President of the Board of Trade, will be speaking on behalf of the Labour Party. With him in the studio is Mr. Christopher Mayhew.
So far, so very formal, but now we see something very different happening in 1959, and you might recognise a very young Tony Benn here as the man who's leading Labour's operations.
Good evening. In our campaign report from the operations room this evening, Christopher Mayhew will be dealing with the subject of schools. Woodrow Wyatt has gone to Birmingham to talk to Hugh Gaitskell, and we shall be going over there later. But first, Holmes. Anthony Greenwood has been out to see for himself, and here is his report from Newcastle.
Now in this seminar we'll be thinking about a variety of questions, particularly how political leaders have used TV in very different ways over time, as we've already seen between 1951 and 1959. What conduct is expected of a leader on TV? How British politicians' use of TV has differed from the United States, where the presidential TV debate has been a fixture since 1960, and whether we're still in the age of the television election. Now, Yes Minister was very interested in this issue of the role of TV in politics. So here we have a clip from one of the early Yes Prime Minister episodes, the ministerial broadcasts, which looks at how Jim Hacker navigates the slippery world of the TV age in politics.
How was that, Godfrey?
Excellent, Prime Minister. Just one thing. Will you be wearing those glasses?
Oh, well, what do you think?
Well, it's up to you, obviously. With them on, you look authoritative and commanding. With them off, you look honest and open. Which do you want?
Well, really, I want to look authoritative and honest.
It's one or the other, really.
What about starting with them off and then putting them on when I talk?
That just looks indecisive.
Oh, I see.
What about a monocle?
Let's just leave them off for the moment, shall we? Can we go again?
Yeah. Have you got that new script there, Bennett?
Oh, yes, Prime Minister.
The Trident programme is too expensive. By cancelling it, we shall release billions of pounds to fund an imaginative and radical attack on the nation's problems. What this country needs is a
Can we hold it?
What's wrong?
No, it's very good, Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
Yeah, just a minute, Bennett, yes?
Do you mind not leaning forward like that? It makes you look as though you're selling insurance. Trying to urge the customer to sign. And also it makes you look up at the lens like a sort of suppliant. You should really be looking down from on high.
Yes, I see. What this country needs. What this country needs. What this country needs.
Now, Yes Minister, as we see from that clip, is far from alone in parodying and criticising politicians for being supposedly overly focused on being image conscious. So this week we've got a variety of things to talk about in thinking about how TV has really affected the way that politics and electoral politics has been done over the last several decades.